Okay, I'm back. I had to charge my battery and reposition where I don't have to squint so much in the sun. I'm Irish American, so squinting is a way of life in the sun. Okay. In your past with relationships or recent past, you have the Princess of Pentacles over the Empress. So perhaps you started a new relationship where you both encouraged each other with your creative gifts. There was a lot of emotional comfort, abundance, feelings of growth, prosperity, joy, happiness, Venusian things in the relationship. This person may have seemed like the person of your dreams or what you've been looking for. There may be a child in the mix, possibly, but another way of looking at it is, yeah, you felt perhaps you guys met each other at work or at school, or you were interested in the same things, had similar talents or abilities, encouraged each other to be flexible with making money. What else could I read into this? I think I pretty much covered it, you know. If you've been in a long-standing relationship and this isn't a new relationship or a new person that you've been interested in, then perhaps recently you had a resurgence in the relationship or a rebirth in the relationship where you felt a newfound sense of purpose or something that you were trying to manifest together, perhaps learning skills together, or focusing on raising your children if you have children. There just seems to be a lot of joy and happiness and abundance in this. Presently, you have the Tower over the Lovers. Both of these are major arcana cards, so this is a big deal. Presently, you may have to make a major choice about this relationship on whether to let it go or keep it, or perhaps choose something together that's different. For instance, if you've been living together in the same place for a while, you may be thinking about moving to a new location, or you may have to move to a new location, in which case you're thinking about where do you want to choose to go. Something akin to that. It doesn't have to be that specific scenario. It could be that things weren't quite what you thought, or there were some undercurrents. I believe in your general reading you had the Devil as what was hindering you, and you had the Tower as your main outcome, and it was something to do with if the Devil continues, then things will crumble. So perhaps there's some major choices that need to be made in the relationship if it's going to survive or continue, based off of perhaps some old patterns or long-standing problems that have existed in the relationship for a long time, in which case it seems almost like it's getting worse or it's coming to a head where you can't ignore these things any longer. I'm getting something about the majority of the time things are good, but every now and then things get really crazy. Or the person that you're with, or you, either one of you or both of you, temporarily act crazy every now and then. And this can seriously damage the relationship or cause it to fail if it continues. So you're faced with some kind of a choice on, okay, what needs to be done, what needs to be chosen, what needs to be adjusted, where you're equally listening to each other in order for this relationship to survive. If you haven't been in a long-standing relationship and this is a new relationship, or you're single, this is saying you have to choose something different from what you used to choose, because what you used to choose always tended to end in ruin somehow. Or perhaps this person isn't who you thought they originally were, and so your ideals your dreams for this relationship are crumbling and falling apart. I really hope that's not true. You would know more than me on how this applies for you, because this is presently. So let's look at the future. I actually, Mercury retrograde, I pulled a clarifier to go with those two in the present. Your clarifier is the world. So this looks like a make or break cycle. Things are changing so dramatically. All three of these are major arcana cards. You have graduated. You have learned your karmic lessons from the past. You no longer want to attract the same thing to yourself anymore. And it's making you realize that not only that, even if you did fall prey to the same pattern again, it's almost like it's immediately set up to fall apart immediately. It could be that you're at a major crossroads in your life when it comes to relationships. Either your old way is crumbling and a new way is appearing. You're in between the worlds. You have to make some kind of a major choice. Otherwise, this will happen. Although, keep in mind, even if things do crumble and fall into ruin, the reason why it's doing that is because you have outgrown this system or this base for things. You've outgrown your foundation, or your foundation is no longer solid. So it's either make or break it. It either survives or it doesn't. It almost seems like it's out of your hands in a weird way. What is in your hands is what you choose. What you choose to go with, what you choose to let go of, how you choose to evolve. Yeah. So in your future, you have the Six of Wands over the Three of Cups. One tiny way I could read this, but I'm not necessarily getting this. And normally I don't read this into the threes at all, except maybe the Three of Swords sometimes. I don't normally read this into the Three of Cups because I love this card, and its message is positive and has more to do with friendship than anything else, and celebrations. But it could be that you have discovered that there's a third party involved, or you perhaps have feelings for someone else along with the person that you're with, or you're interested in two different people. It could be that this situation gets so complicated that you decide to just forget about the whole thing and move on, and resolve this situation. That aside, and that's just one possibility, that aside, it could be saying that for now you need a break from relationships temporarily in order to center yourself and gather your thoughts on how exactly you really feel about this, or what you think about this person or this relationship. And instead, you should be focusing on friendships and just regular, normal, everyday relationships that you have with people around you that are more lighthearted and free and have more to do with sharing than anything too serious or too complicated. It can also be saying that if you're single, it's time for you to start traveling or getting out there, possibly going to new locations where you can put yourself in situations where people are having a good time or people are celebrating, where you have more of a chance to get to know people and meet people in general, and perhaps meet somebody that piques your interest. So I pulled a clarifier to go with that. If you are in a long-standing relationship, and this doesn't have to do with letting go of your relationship at all, but it does have to do with moving on from whatever the conflict was in the past. Whatever was causing you to feel like things were falling apart, it's time to move on from that now and cultivate your friendship with your partner, where not only are you lovers or partners, you're also dear friends with each other. It seems like if your relationship is going to survive and you are going to move forward and evolve together, it definitely has to do with strengthening your friendship that you have between the two of you and your trust. So the clarifier that I picked to go with these two is the Six of Wands. I believe you had this in your general reading. So this says no matter what, as long as you stay positive and you don't fall prey to whatever shifts are going on right now, you could choose to go with them and celebrate the shifts, or you could choose to be afraid of the shifts. If you choose to be afraid of the shifts, or if you choose to hang on to the old patterns without shifting with the shifts, then things may fall apart. But that's just one possibility. Another possibility is that if you stay positive, and if you work on conflict resolution or solving any issues you may have, and strengthening your friendships in general, along with any romantic relationships you have, you are assured success as long as you keep on moving forward and stay positive and work towards the betterment of things. The only way that things are set up for failure is if you continue to try to hang on to the old patterns or the old way. So hopefully that made sense to you or helped in some way. I'm squinting again, I can't help it. It's either that or I wear my sunglasses and I just feel weird wearing sunglasses on camera. So we'll see you in a second for your jobs, money, and career situation. Hello. Okay, this is going to be 6 cards for Sagittarius rising, sun, and moon sign for their job situation, career situation, or money situation, or all three. And this is in Sagittarius's best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear. It's been threatening to rain. Actually, those rocks behind me is a dry creek bed. Normally this creek is raging and flowing this time of year. But this past winter we didn't get enough snow, and this warm season we haven't gotten enough rain. And it's been threatening to rain a few days in a row now, but it hasn't actually really rained. The one time it started to, it stopped within 5 minutes. It would be awesome if it rained, even if it did interrupt your reading. Maybe you could send some good thoughts our way here in my tiny little town in Colorado for us to get some rain. That would be so wonderful, especially for a mermaid like myself. How I ended up out in high alpine desert mountains is beyond me. I'm actually from the cold Atlantic. I was born on the Atlantic. So, enough about rain. Let's go on to your career, job, and money situation. Okay, I'm going to start picking the cards. I should come here to do readings more often. So far I haven't had any interruptions, knock on wood. And it's nice and quiet, for the most part. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you your 6 cards. Your first one is the 7 of Pentacles, the King of Cups again. I believe you got him in your general reading for this month. These two, I thought it was one card, and it turned out to be 2 cards that came out together. The 8 of Cups and the 2 of Swords. On the bottom, the Star. Very nice. The Chariot. And the Princess of Pentacles again. Feels like you really are ready and practically burgeoning to get started with these new things, or to continue with this process more. Perhaps you feel like it's been complicated or slightly delayed. But the more you focus on this, I think the better off you'll be, honestly, is to go with your new talents or your new projects or your experimentations. Oh, the cards are blowing away. Okay. The fairies agreed with me on that one. Either that or it's actually going to rain this time. We'll see. Okay. So in your recent past, excuse me, with money, you had a dream or a hope or a grand idea, a grand inspiration, a dream, something that you feel completely inspired by and feel like it's part of your purpose or your divine path. And you have put a lot of work into this. I see this as being related to your Princess of Pentacles, even though it's in the past. Perhaps you started these things in the past and you had to put them on hold for a little bit in order to deal with other things. Or perhaps it just naturally slowed down for a moment there. Makes sense? With all these retrogrades, this is your recent past. This isn't far off, distant past. This is what you're coming from. So this could be the retrogrades, the Mercury retrograde, just revisiting what work you've done so far, what you've accomplished so far, what you've planted so far, and patiently waiting for this period to be over so that you can pick it back up again and continue to grow these things. But it almost feels like not only are you waiting patiently for these things to grow on their own at this point, after you've put so much work into them initially, but also you may even be thinking about weeding or editing or taking some things out in order to nurture the other things that seem to be growing well. You know, when you're gardening, growing plants, and you plant a whole bunch of seeds, some plants just naturally seem to do really well or grow quickly or grow large, and other ones seem a little bit smaller and slower to grow. Then you're faced with a choice of, do you do some weeding and take out the small little itty bitty ones in order to make room for the ones that are growing well? Or do you keep them all there and wait a little bit while longer to see if maybe some of the smaller plants take off all of a sudden and start to grow much faster? Just seems like a waiting and assessment period in the recent past over something that brings you a lot of inspiration that you feel is extremely meaningful for you. Or waiting on a wish to come to fruition. So presently, with career, jobs, and money. This could very well be some kind of a partner, a business partner, or someone you work with, or someone you know at work. Or it could just be the role that you're taking on at this time. And I'm talking about the King of Cups here. The King of Cups is a natural detective. He is ruled by Scorpionic energy. He's all about what lies hidden underneath, the hidden motives, hidden secrets, hidden intentions, what lies beneath the surface of what most people pay attention to. This is looking at the depths of things. And the Chariot is about moving forward with your goals, or moving forward towards your goals. Settling on where you would like to go, what is your destination? And you don't have to think about one big giant destination. You can think of many destinations along the way that are almost like markers of your progress of this major goal or small goal. It's really up to you on what your goals are. But I am getting, right now, you're kind of having to take on a role of really looking into your goals in depth. Excuse me, we've had a lot of wildfires and fires surrounding us, and our whole entire valley has been filled with smoke for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. So everyone here has kind of a weird dry cough. There may be some things under the surface of what you're trying to do that you need to look at more closely. This could be sniffing out BS, sniffing out intentions, sniffing out what is the best thing to do, how to best move forward. This can do with research and looking in depth into things concerning what you're planning on doing. This can also be going to a master or going to someone who has been doing this sort of thing for a long time that would be able to give you some helpful advice or tips on how you could move forward. Definitely something to do with research and with looking deep underneath the surface to really see things for what they are or discover anything in the matter that may be hidden. This could also be outright detective work or research work or psychological work. If you work with the psychiatric field or counseling field, this is having new insights and new perceptions based off of things that normally are hidden from view. But for now, it almost seems like you're seeing through things more than usual. But this can ultimately only be a good thing because it's helping you to see things more clearly. And it's helping you to come up with strategies on how to move forward. And that brings to mind, you may need to come up with some, it sounds weird, but I don't mean it this way. You may need to come up with some secretive plans on how to move forward, or undercover plans, or what's the word? There's a word for it and it's not coming right now. Yeah, something like that. To keep things on the down low. Let's put it that way, instead of secretive or you're doing something fishy, which any Sagittarian who's a true Sagittarian is all about truth and honesty and isn't about fishy things. This isn't that. This is perhaps needing to be on the down low more than usual, or a little bit more subtle. A little bit more subtle about what you're doing. Okay. In your near future, with jobs, career, and money, or goals and reputation, you can look at this section in a number of different ways. You still have the Princess of Pentacles in your near future. So if things have been put on hold for now in order to reassess or come up with some new strategies, this says there's some slow going and moving forward, perhaps out of indecision about something, or perhaps fearing a leap into the unknown. That might be one reason on why presently you're doing a lot more research on this, or looking in depth and having ponderous moments where you're really going deep with this, on where is this coming from, how do you best proceed, any extra information you might need to find out before you move forward. You'll have to pardon me. Mercury retrograde this time around is really messing with me. Normally I tend to slur every now and then. It's just the Neptunian energy that I carry. My ex-husband used to joke about it and say, "What channel are you on?" Because sometimes there are glitches that happen when I'm channeling, but this Mercury retrograde is making them happen way more frequently than usual. So anyway, let's move forward. So Perhaps you're undecided on how to best proceed with this, or you may have to narrow things down and simplify. You also may be torn on which one of your things is more fruitful. I'm getting multitudes of skills or gifts, or several jobs if you happen to have 2 jobs, or if you happen to have a career and then a side job or something like that. You may need to make some choices on which one are you going to focus on the most right now that seems to be bringing in the money. There may also be something in here that says you're thinking of completely leaping into this new project. But again, you're hesitant to put all of your energy into one thing because it is somewhat risky in the very beginning. But I am getting, because you have the Princess of Pentacles in here, that above all of the confusion, or not even confusion, indecision, or trying to figure out how to best move forward, as long as you just focus on what you're doing and what your actual goals are and take it step by step and experiment as you go, you should come out just fine. And a lot of these internal confusion and indecision problems will melt away because you'll start to see results. I pulled a clarifier. To go with the Princess of Pentacles. And I got the 9 of Wands. So I feel like you're trying to wrap up old things while you are starting new things at the same time. And because you have so many things that you're trying to juggle or deal with, it may prove to be a teeny bit too much energy-wise. You may end up feeling kind of exhausted or indecisive or torn about this. But if you can use this retrograde time to wrap up the old things, by the time the retrogrades even out a little bit, or at least when Mercury goes direct, which is on the 18th of August, by the way, then you can start to fully move forward with this. Okay, let me get a little bit more clear about what I'm saying here. So that's that one. Okay. So this is the old actions, the old projects, and the old things that you have been doing this whole time, even before you started this new thing. And now, presently, or in the near future, you may be trying to do both of these things at the same time, which is why you have the 8 of Cups and the 2 of Swords above them, is it may prove to be too much. So my advice to you would be, rather than focusing on this just yet, or minimal focus on this, right now during the retrograde season, you really need to be focusing on wrapping up these loose ends now, so that by the time Mercury goes direct again, you have more energy and space in your life to nurture this. And this ultimately is what I see is your dream, or your hope, or your inspiration from that star card in the beginning. This is a seed that was planted from that star. And so, yeah, that's what I would say, is try to tie up your loose ends now. Don't worry so much about the immediate future just yet until at least Mercury goes direct, and then you can pick it back up again. Perhaps that's the reason why you have the 7 of Pentacles over the star in the recent past, is you started this resting process, but perhaps you start to get, because you rested, all of a sudden you realize you have a lot more on your plate than you thought. So hopefully that made sense or helped in some way. And next is your health. Here I am again. I'm really hoping that it'll actually rain this time. This creek next to me sure could use the water. Okay, this is going to be for Sagittarius rising sun and moon for August 2018 for their mental, emotional, and physical health. And Sagittarius is best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear. You guys missed a hummingbird. A hummingbird flew right down next to me a moment ago when I was setting things up. Maybe it'll come back. Okay. I'm outside in the dirt, so I'm sorry I can't be super clean for this. My fingernails look really gross, but hopefully you won't mind. You'll be too busy paying attention to the cards to notice my fingernails. Here we go. Oh, wow. Okay. Your first one, the Nine of Pentacles. Your second one, the Knight of Cups. Lovely. Your next one, the Fool. Bottom, Four of Wands. This is a really lovely health reading, by the way. Your middle one is the Seven of Pentacles. This is probably one of the nicest readings so far out of these three. I don't see any tower in here. I don't see any devil. You have the World as your last one. Health. Okay. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because the kids are starting to come out and play. And I believe my battery is running low again. So, with your health in the past, a great deal of your health and a sense of physical and emotional security had to do with a new solid base. This could be rooting down in a new home. It could be rooting down in creating a beautiful garden or yard work or working with plants outdoors. This can be creating something long-standing or at least stable. That took up the majority of your time in the past, was making sure that things were situated and lined up and set to go. I think that's pretty straightforward, honestly. I don't see any major health problems in this at all. I'm just seeing you preparing, gathering, and getting things together to create some kind of a solid base for yourself in one way or another. Presently, and I'm reading this into your physical and emotional health. Your physical health is okay, but it's slowed down a little bit. Perhaps you don't have as much energy as you normally do, or in other words, you're noticing you're getting more tired than usual, easily, or you just feel like things have slowed down a little bit and are kind of at a waiting period. This could have to do with waiting on your dreams to come to fruition, or to waiting for the right moment to pounce on your dreams. Not that the Knight of Cups is a pouncing type of knight. He's more of a swimmer, or more of a wader through the creek. Notice he's next to a beautiful creek with water in it. That would be so lovely. Maybe this is waiting for water, or waiting for movement, waiting for flow, waiting for fertility, waiting to see things start to come to fruition when it comes to your heart's deepest desires or wishes. This could even be waiting on romance or a relationship, or waiting on a person, but this can be waiting to take some kind of a journey as well. But I'm definitely getting waiting for nourishment, or waiting to see some progress. In the near future, it looks like a major shift. It seems to me as though you're in between the worlds right now, and you are about to close an old world, or close a door on an old experience. And this is a very long-lasting, long existing journey you've been on that's closing now. I'm looking at this one, the world. And you're about to embark on a whole new journey in your life that, again, has to do with following your dreams, or following your bliss, or following your dream of what you want this journey to center around, or what you want to have come about for you in a magical way on this new journey. It involves a huge risk and a leap of faith, because you have no idea what is going to happen, but it looks to me as though you are fully divinely guided and protected on this new journey. But you have to close out this old cycle first before you can fully, completely move on, or move forward, not move on, move forward. Move on so that you can move forward. Perhaps, and there was something about this earlier, I think in the last reading with jobs, you may be closing something while you're beginning something else, and that can be quite confusing, trying to juggle all of those things. It may be that you just need to make a clean break with this old cycle before you can fully put all of your energy into this new world that's opening up for you. As far as health, I would say get physical. Go out for walks, go out for hikes, dance, move your body, be flexible. Heal your body if you have any issues going on with your body. A lot of your issues may have to do with joints, or flexibility, or aches and pains in your joints. Gee, that rings totally true for me. I'm a Sagittarius rising. Yeah, I wrenched out my arm socket actually last week, and I'm still dealing with it now. Hopefully I'll be able to have somebody come by and put my joint back in place again. But yeah, equal time between relaxing, resting, and then movement, rather than trying to do too much or do too little at this time, to strike a nice balance between those two things. So that looks very lovely. Okay, we are done. Many, many, many blessings to you, and I wish you all the best in what you're trying to do, and with moving forward on this new journey, and I will see you next time. Bye.